As a human being, you can never stop learning new things. You will always be exposed to new things no matter what. In the last 2 years that I've graduated from college, I've experienced so many things. I've learned so many things as well that now I want to share with you. This message is for you, a college graduate. Number 1, don't become an educated fool. It's so easy to take one step further of just feeling proud of what you've accomplished. It's okay to feel proud of who you are so far. It's okay to feel proud of all the achievements thus far. But do not let it get to your head. Don't think that just because you have a piece of paper that we all call a degree, you somehow automatically deserve special treatment from anyone, because honey, you won't receive it. Unfortunately, this happens to a lot of people who have just graduated from college. Somehow in their minds, they have fallen into this lie of, I have a degree, so now I deserve special treatment. I am entitled to have this job and pay and get paid this much, and the rest of you are peasants. No. You have a degree. Essentially, we have a piece of paper that states that we were willing to pay thousands and thousands of dollars. Essentially means that we can take tests, read books, and understand certain things in theory, and perhaps even apply them. But by no means does it mean that we get to be entitled and feel superior to others. Because at the end of the day, regardless of having a degree or not, you and I are still human beings. We are no different from the person that did not have the opportunity to go to college or maybe just chose not to go to college. Do not let it get to your head. You are not entitled to any special treatment, especially from employers. In case you didn't know or you weren't aware of already, when you go apply for a job, a lot of employers expect the ideal candidate to have a combination of experience and education. And sadly, some do not have possession of both. Some do. Congratulations to you that do. But the thing is, how can you feel entitled and expect special treatment when you haven't worked hard enough to get to the top? Granted, once you're at the top, you should not feel like you deserve special treatment of any kind. But just saying, you cannot expect people to treat you like a queen or a king just because you have a degree. So please, do not become an educated fool. Do not think that just because you have a degree, you know it all. There are many things you don't know. And like I mentioned before, as a human being, we never stop learning new things. Every day is a new opportunity to learn. So do not ever, by 1 second, think that you know it all, because you don't. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's discuss something else. Changing fields. Changing fields might be very, very, very scary to some. For some, it might be dumb. It might not make any sense. And let me tell you, I was there one day. One day I thought, why do people go to school and to try to pursue a certain career in a certain field, but then when they graduate, they're doing something else? It makes no sense. I didn't understand that, but it wasn't until it actually happened to me that I truly understood why this happens. Let me explain something. For you that maybe doesn't understand this yet, or barely trying to figure it out, or barely being exposed to it, as a graduate, as an adult in the real life, you are quick to learn that a couple of things matter in life now. Especially if you no longer live with your parents or your family members. You are now responsible for everything that you do and don't do. At the end of the day, I've learned that getting your bills paid on time is of great essence, and not to speak of having a savings account. That, I believe, is something that everyone should pay close attention to. You need to have your bills paid, and you need to have savings just in case, for a rainy day. You guys don't know how many times, just by having a savings account, my husband and I have been pulled through rough times. So if I could stress any much more, Please pay attention to those. Now, going back to the main point of, changing fields. Why do people do that? Well, having in mind that as an adult, you have responsibilities now. Sometimes you are soon to realize that maybe the field that you went to school for will not pay your bills, will not give you that salary, or will not give you what you expected, or maybe you just no longer find it interesting. Unfortunately, you have already graduated. You cannot turn back time and rewind anything and change anything, so you have to work with what you have. Sometimes some people find it a lot better to just change their field. Maybe they're interested in a different field that they can actually make a career out of and that will pay well. And at the end of the day, they'll enjoy it and it will provide financially for them. So that is totally fine. Side note, some employers actually do, accept a person to have a non-related degree as long as they're willing to undergo, a certain specific training or even go back to school. Some employers will even pay for your school, or give you some type of reimbursement, which is so amazing. But guys, if you find yourself at the verge of having to pursue a different career, don't let that scare you. It will happen. And if you're at the other end, that maybe a friend or someone that you know is going through this, please do not discourage them because you do not know their story. Now, the other thing that I also want to talk to you guys about is having standards and requirements. So you just graduated from college, and maybe there were some lucky ones that were able to get an employment before graduation, and that is amazing. There are some fields, if you guys didn't already know, there are some fields that is a lot easier to find an employment within. There are some fields that are better paying than others. That's just how life works, Side note. It's very important if you're still in school or if you know anyone in school to actually encourage them to think thoroughly about what degree or what field they're pursuing. Because once graduation rolls around, you cannot turn around. You really have to think about what you're going to do with this new degree in this field that you have. Is it going to provide for you? Or is it something that you could have done as a hobby? Just think about it like that. There's a lot of things you need to take into consideration while you're in school. If you're no longer in school, please be of encouragement to others who are still in school. A lot of students need encouragement from us who have already been there, done that. So please, don't forget about that. Encourage others for that. Going back to what I was talking about, sorry, didn't mean to go on a rabbit trail, but I just felt that was very important to mention. But going back to it, everybody needs standards. Don't forget, now, there's a fine line and there needs to be a balance. You shouldn't feel overly proud of becoming a college graduate, but you shouldn't also not take into consideration all the hard work you did to earn this degree. Do not take just any job that waltzes around in front of you, because there are some employers that will take advantage of new grads. What do I mean by this? Some grads are so desperate in finding an employment because maybe all their buddies have a job, or maybe they have to pay their school loan, they have to pay maybe their monthly dues of credit cards or cars or just phone bills or whatever, that they are just so desperate that they take any job. No, you went to school. Please have some standard. It's okay to have a minimum, minimum required pay or salary or whatever. Of course, be reasonable. Please, don't expect to be making 6 figures or more a year when you don't possess, all the qualifications that an employer asks for. Be reasonable. Think about what have you done that can be related to this employment. Don't take any job and get, exploited and underpaid. You did go to school. Don't forget about that. Don't forget about your worth, guys. It's very extremely important to think about this. Now, also, guys, don't forget about God. Some of you Maybe this doesn't apply to you because you choose not to have it apply to you. I'm not here to change anybody's opinions or point of views of anything. I'm only here to speak about my personal experiences, what I've learned by seeing things in my life or in other people's lives. Guys, don't forget about God. A lot of people are where they're at, including myself, because of where God opened up doors for. Don't forget about God. The moment you forget about God and you forget to give him his place in your life is the moment that your life will start going downhill. I'm only speaking because of personal experience and because of things that I've seen in other people's lives as well. One day they had it all, and because they forgot about God, they have nothing at all. So guys, that's very extremely important. Don't forget about God, and don't forget where you came from either. Be humble about who you are, what you've accomplished. Be of an encouragement to others. Guys, it's very important. If anything, encourage those who just graduated from college. Give them a piece of advice. It's honestly hard to have to learn things and experience things and go through a lot of hard times. You know, if you can avoid that for someone, go for it. Now, this message, you're more than welcome to do whatever you want with it. I'm doing it because I want to share with you what I have learned. And I do realize that a lot of you have learned so many different things, and maybe I didn't mention one of them in here. I would love to hear what you have learned since you graduated from college. What have you learned? What things would you tell and advise others who can't avoid being in certain situations or can't avoid certain experiences? What things can you advise to them, to him, to her? Share them with me, guys. I would love to hear. I'm always interested in knowing in people's stories. I think it makes it interesting. You know, I can learn new things about it. You know, and like I said, I'm still learning every day. Every day is a new day. It's a new experience. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful day.